You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. So, we are under attack by the deep state shadow government criminal enterprise, which is also the narcos, which is also criminal enterprise, which is also Republicans, Democrats, Green Party. It's part of the entire world. One of the things that has been happening over the last 10 years is they're trying to counter what I'm saying and what knowledge is trickling back into federal, state, and local law enforcement as to what's actually happening in their life. You're not being investigated, but they'll make it look like that. And if they can pull a case out of their ass, they will. You're being killed by criminals that have made deals with Russians, narcos. It can happen, quote unquote, magically, based upon internet communication, subliminal messaging. The CIA will not protect you. The FBI will not protect you. They'll tell you it's because of you. This was another one of those scenarios where I'm like, okay, they're attacking me. No, they're not attacking me. They just killed 3 Border Patrol agents. And they'll tell you, well, they're all pedophiles. So again, that's out there. Who's actually doing it? The wealthy pedophiles. You see, that's a counter operation, the QAnon information, to make you believe that there isn't wealthy pedophiles, and they're actually mostly Republicans. And they have money, and they pay people to kill law enforcement officers that they believe would actually investigate them and not take the money and run, or run in fear when they get extorted. So you'll hear a lot more from me. What you heard yesterday is an investigative technique. I've used it several times. I can tell them what I'm doing, and they still play into it. So I know they're easy to bust. So what you do is you act like you're losing it when you're undercover, and then you watch them come in and try to stress you out further. They'll tell you, well, our detectives and our police officers have detected a dangerous man, and we are testing his behavior to see what his reaction would be to psychological torture over an extended period of time. Like, that makes any fucking sense. In other words, they're trying to make a cop eat his gun or eat a gun. Or freak out and die, police suicide by cop. So again, they are not the thin blue line. They're not even really supposed to be in law enforcement, but they work for criminal enterprise, and they have so back into the 80s at least, also known as cocaine cowboys in the 80s. Many of the bosses in federal law enforcement were and are cocaine cowboys, fentanyl importers, that type of thing. If I assign all my people to go right and they go left, then they're in, right? Uh-huh. Now, a boss may have taken out those 3 Border Patrol agents. I don't know if the director's guilty or the commissioner or whatever they call those people, a supervisor, underlings. I've been in an office where underlings ran the office. The boss was afraid of the deep state. Of course, CIA would try to extort him. His wife probably got a nice job, and he probably got a nice wife back when he sold out the first time. So again, those people are killing your children. Don't think, actually more than one way, but one way would be with the narcotics, but the other way is that they're twisting people's minds into pedophilia to cover over the fact that the actual pedophiles are wealthy people living great lives. And they don't have to be uber wealthy. When I was in Tyler, Texas, they were throwing these kids at me to try to twist my mind, and they'll do things like bring a woman, get you turned on to a woman, then alter it to a younger, like maybe someone around your age, maybe 10 years younger. Then they'll bring somebody younger, then bring somebody younger. So what they're doing is they won't allow you to even have a relationship in reality. But what they want you to do is to have sex with somebody underage. So it's a very long, I condensed it here, it's a long, drawn-out process of wiring the person via psychological torture. If you don't do it, they torture you. And if you do so, and do it means whatever it is. They may want you to take a left turn instead of a right turn, and until you take that left turn, they'll torture you. So you're like, okay, I'll take the left turn. Okay, I'll go up this hill. Okay, I'll go over to the zoo. Okay, I'll go over to Walmart. Okay, I'll go over to. Next thing you know, they're like, okay, now look at this porn, or we'll torture you. That's what they're doing. Fully investigated for 30 years. No, they've had kids murdered and raped. They don't care. And what they'll do sometimes is get you to, or get the victim to murder, or the victim, because it's actually a victim, psychological victim, to murder and rape another victim's child. That's really who they are. There's no redeemable quality. This is not the deep state rescuing the world. It's all bullshit from the biggest bullshitters that ever existed, the Russians. The Russians wired our nation for this. And they just fell right into line because of the pieces of shit that they are. All those cops, all those agents that are doing it are criminals. And they are psychologically altering people. That's why when that first assistant case came up, I wondered what was going on. They operated him. Now, in, what's that guy's name? Nicholson, Jonathan Nichols' case, he probably committed suicide because he couldn't deal with it. They were probably beginning to alter his sexuality and things such as that. And plus, they're using LSD and stuff and things like that. So again, you'll go, well, I can fight it. I can fight. No. When they did it to you, it was fake because they knew you were a piece of shit and that you sell out. Sell out to drug dealers, to sex traffickers while they run around busting the actual competition. You understand what's happening? It's the same thing as Mexico. When they arrest somebody, they're not in with the deep state. The deep state narcotics distributors don't get investigated. They live in here in Oklahoma City in $5 to $10 million houses and rub elbows with all the politicians and all the cops. As long as they keep that money flowing, they can rub all the elbow they want. Who do you think's on the golf course over there? A bunch of crooks. So again, you act like you're freaking out, and then the cops here know the game, but I don't think the others do. And they may be detectives. They may be sending detectives now instead of marked units. They used to send marked units. They weren't trying to send a message. They were trying to kill me. The cops came zooming by, getting ready to pull the trigger. They told them kill me before I even got to the city. New Mexico, Maryland, Florida. Made the little calls. Everybody think, oh, I didn't hear that. Okay, erase that off the wiretap. Okay, no more record of that. So you got that going on. So you're right. I wrote to the Border Patrol, half the people are there going, so they're weak. They're weak just like Bruce Schultz. Go to the PBA video. Look at the Bruce Schultz video, the FBI agent in the 90s. His wife sent a couple messages for help in there. They attacked her after Bruce killed himself, I'm sure. Payoff was she got a job in the BOP, but if she didn't, they probably would have killed her. They can watch her. It was a BOP or a U.S. Attorney's Office, I think. They would have killed her. They disappeared Bob Levinson. These programs have been known since at least the 1940s. But yet this type of operation goes back to Jesus. They use this stuff against Jesus. A lot less technical, but it existed. And probably tried to use it against Samson. And he smoked him with the jawbone of an ass. Keep calling me an ass. Keep smiting you with my jawbone. And, no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. That's one of the cues in the Bible. The Bible tells you how to fight the deep state. It really does. And I use the term deep state, but it's also known as the beast. It's also known as, like if you read the Bible, it's like this big loss, right? Oh no, the beast is coming. But if you read the rest of the Bible, it tells you how to screw up the beast. So I could say it's tied to the Republican takeover, possibly, but I don't think so. 'Cause I look back, 3 weeks. Because they had to be operated for an extended period of time for this to happen. So it probably, I mean, they may do that so that somebody will blame the Republicans for the suicides. But it doesn't fall into place. Sometimes it takes years to get people even to notice. I didn't notice it for years. I was just stupid. I mean, I was investigating something, but I just couldn't figure anything out. And one thing you have to be careful while you're investigating it, they're going to distract you. Now, when they trash your life like they did mine, your woman comes along, you're going to stop everything and go, hi, how are you? So again, they do that to me, and then they like, gotcha, you stopped investigating, now it doesn't look like an investigation, They're paying a lot of narco money, a lot of federal money. The weird part is there's federal money being paid to informants that are to support the narcos. Because it's bullshit. They'll go after the competition, but what are they also doing? They're going to kill out cops, man. They'll put the word out, take that cop out. There was a black cop in Santa Fe. He thought it was all racism, but yeah, it was racism. But if the system said, hey, and again, it's hard for the deep state doesn't accept black people too much in Santa Fe. They're racist, white, not white, but Latino supremacists. So in Santa Fe, it's kind of a weird world, because it's Latino supremacy. Yeah, I mean, it's illegal, but of course, illegal stuff happens everywhere. Cops don't care, politicians don't really care. They actually empower it, and they go, oh, we'll help you get rid of that. Just give us a call and tell us you see it. See something, say something. It's like you're 50-50. They may try to kill you for it. See something, say something in this country is a scam. You're actually calling and telling them that you see crime. Then they'll send it down to their hitman, and it'll take you and your family out. I mean, that's real, man. It's bullshit. The whole fucking thing's bullshit. But of course, if you turn in one of their competitors, oh, you're a great American. They'll take that drug dealer out. We didn't know he was fighting our drug dealers. Let that Mexican general go, Trump. Yeah, it'll be something extra special in your real paycheck. Giving up your paycheck. What a piece of shit. All the money Trump gave up while he was president, he made more money releasing that Mexican general drug smuggler and murderer than he did giving up all that money his whole entire presidential career or whatever the fuck it was. All of a sudden, every hotel, wing, wing, wing. All of a sudden, he's got like he's making $10 million at his hotels instead of $1 million. No, Law and Order, Law and Order. So again, this is. You remember, I was the one that was saying Law and Order. They took I guess they wanted me to hate Trump. I don't know what they wanted. Maybe they probably wanted anything they could do. I'll give you an example of something, but this is it here. No marvel for Satan himself is transformed into angel light. Law and Order, Law and Order. It's all bullshit for Trump, right? So I've been trying to order these USB cords. And I need to power my lights. I have some LED lights, and they're rechargeable, but the battery only lasts like an hour. So I have to get like either an extension, a double extension, because it came with two in a pack, and it gives you a USB cord that's a splitter, like a regular USB-A to USB-C split. But it's not real long, and so I have to get an extender, and I wanted to get the longest extender I could just in case I needed a longer one later. And they wheeled me down. It's been like 2 days. And actually, I was going to order them before, and I never did. And a couple other things, too, they wheeled me down. So, again, this is also happening when they're allowed to watch you all day. Like, they could be somebody in Amazon. It could be a federal agent. It could be a combination of those. It could be a state officer, local officer. It could be a U.S. attorney. And they just have that ability to stalk you without being seen. Again, they have spycraft capability. The director of the FBI says nobody is using it for A, B, or C. Possibly the agent isn't. Possibly the agent is. They have connections in private sector. So again, it's done how it's done. The director may be simply saying what his policy is instead versus what the reality is. Again, you're not going to get the IG to investigate anything real because the IG wouldn't have that job if he wasn't corrupt or an idiot, mostly corrupt. Because I was an idiot, they still wanted to kill me because I wasn't corrupt. And kill you means psychologically, physically, everything they could do. Again, I have God, that's why I'm alive. So the first assistant is definitely a psychological operation. You can call it all you want. Somebody was investigating him, whatever you say, bullshit, all of you. I'm not condoning his activity. However, he definitely was operated. And it's falling in line with, this is like a witches' festival. I told you, for some reason, they operate around November and December. I have no freaking idea, man. But, that's when they killed John. That's Jonathan Luna. That's when they killed Inspector Neely in New York. Again, they both supposedly committed suicide, possibly not. It is as far as saying they could be killed, and if the money was right and falls the right way for them, they would kill them, and then they would say that it's, a suicide or whatever. So he had a first assistant, not government, or not federal, a DA, a state DA, first assistant, just like all of a sudden download all this child porn and not turn it in. So, and that's one of the things. See, he might have been doing it. I don't know what he's going to say. He's like, oh, they got me, Because what he might have been doing was investigating something. I don't know if he was or not. I have no idea. Right. But I know he was affected by the operation. So if you worked with him and you're wondering what the hell happened, you might know. There might be everybody in that office going, shit, they got him. They got to abandon ship. We got to save our careers. and they're all drugged, most likely. Yeah, this is the weird part. They could have went around that courthouse or federal building or state building, whatever it is. I guess it's courthouse. They could have went around wiping everything with light doses of LSD. For like a year, 2 years. One of your cleaning people even the cleaning people might not know because they're wearing gloves. They might get a solution. You get a box of solution in to clean your building. It could have trace amounts of LSD in it, and they start wiping that everywhere. And your cleanup guy or gal is the greatest people on earth. You trust them with your kids. They come in. You go to your barbecues and your kids' weddings and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars and people like Trump, McCarthy, narcos, federal agents that'll go to prison forever for all the people they killed in their career, probably like 30 or something like that. I mean, this is real, man. So your cleaning solution isn't even really safe. They can send you a box of cleaning solution with a trace LSD, and your person's on there all day doing it. What happens is, and I was looking for this information a long time ago, and I couldn't find it. I know it can cause suicide. So I said, they could have used LSD on John because I know I was drugged. I'm trying to figure what kind of drug this was because you're not always feeling drugged. You just, your perception's different. So again, spycraft drugs aren't always going to make you feel woozy, and although they did get me with that a couple times. So what it'll do is it makes you. I said this about Bob. I said they have something that makes you like less inhibited, which is a lot of drugs, but your mind kind of, they'll make you believe, hey, I'm the big CIA, like Bob was thinking, I'm the big CIA guy now. And there's no way he should be the big CIA guy unless he's sitting in an office somewhere and never comes out, and gets in a secret car and goes home. Because everybody knows who Bob is. The Russians know who Bob is. The Iranians know who Bob is. Everybody knew who Bob was except for Bob. that was a sign of a deep state hit, and there's other signs. So Bob, if they gave him LSD, they have what's called open trait, which means you're open to things, but that also makes you open to suggestion. And the spycraft is a suggestion, but it's also deep. I mean, like I said, alpha, beta, delta waves, serotonin. They're altering all that stuff. And of course, our government's paid trillions of dollars to learn how to kill its own people. Because why? If you go to the Aldrich Ames book, the recent one where they were investigating Aldrich Ames, the CIA officer in there explains. Hey, he could be a good guy, I don't know, but explain how CIA is paranoid about FBI. Essentially, they hate FBI. And that's what again, it's not just FBI, it's any honest cop. They hate honest cops. Why? Because they're committing crimes. I mean, there's no other reason. So again, that's part of what was happening. The information from what I've been saying over the last 20 or 30 years or 20 to 30 years is coming out. Like basis information, like a CIA officer will say something over here, his person will say something over there. Philip Mudd or whatever his name, he's obviously corrupt. Again, I'm not against people making money, but you're all killing people because you're so freaking freaked out, paranoid. Like I say, he's going to be the hero and all that stuff. You'll see hero. Yeah, eventually I'm going to die, right? I mean, we all die. They're going to win when I die, right? I lived longer than my father already, so fuck you. You probably killed my father, you bastard bitches. Yeah, remember I told you I'm going to use your language. The way you talk about me in your circles is the way I'm going to talk about you. Those are their power words. Or anti-power words, but we have to use them in God's world because, the preachers are part of it. Like, there's a protection from all of this, but the church is sold out. I mean, you people in law enforcement, the church is sold out. Highest bidder, come on, Trump, whoever. Like, the people that are leaving Trump now, oh, Trump's a bad man, we'll leave him now. He's not Christian. Who do you think they are? Some may be CIA-type operators. But they're definitely financial operators. There's no money in Trump anymore. Let's go find someone else. Again, they disappeared Bob. One of the things Bob said is that 36 years, I think it was, that government's got to mean something. My mind did a double flip when I saw that video. I wish they would have showed it to me right away. About the video of Bob in lockup there in Iranian or Taliban lockup. They could have moved him, and may have been set up to look that way or appear that way, but they could have moved him. I don't know what the origination of that music was, and that doesn't matter anyway. Russians could have had him and made that all look like that. But it appeared to me that Bob was trying to send the message that they were moving him all the time, which may have been. And I guess you checked DNA and you didn't find his, but he could have been with the Taliban. Could have been the mother of all bombs dropped on him and the Taliban. Because to anyone else, it would have looked like another terrorist. So they could have been moving Bob really quick, and because he said I'm running out very fast, or something like that. It just seems strange he would speak about his medicine at that point, because it wasn't the beginning, in the way I understand, unless it's the first week or first month which it wasn't, right? So it seemed like he was trying to say they were moving him, and they may have transferred him to Taliban control. We don't know, but we may have bombed Bob at friendly fire incident. That was one of the ones that I thought may have happened. But Bob said that, and when they were killing me and the government, I mean, you're in shock. Like, again, spycraft operation is a strange thing, so you don't really detect it. So when you wake up to the fact that these people are killing you, I was like, like back then it was like 20 years, in government and the military. It's like 20 years serving my country. It's got to mean something. I mean, I was a hard worker all the way through all of it. I'm not one of these pieces of shit like your bosses and stuff that went criminal, not rogue. This isn't rogue. It's criminal. They're criminals. The government's criminal. So the guy went criminal, and made a name being criminal. So again, in some of these offices, the underlings run the office because the spies pick the most corrupt person that they can manipulate, and then they prop them up. So they're junior people, but if you don't do what that person says, the spies attack you. But they also have witchcraft. So some of it's witchcraft also. So it's spycraft. Spycraft and witchcraft go hand in hand. Let me see if there's anything else there. I got some things I got to do today. I got one bin already packed. I got to get that in the vehicle. I got to move another bin. I'm trying to move 2 bins a day. So it's either witchcraft, but I think I was definitely psychologically operated and witched into what happened the last couple of days trying to get my GoPro accessory. One I got last night was weird. It's got white residue on it. But I can't keep it. I got to go find another one or just turn it back in and say to hell with it. I forgot I can turn my GoPro into a webcam without using that kit, so it's not necessary. I'm just wondering if I could buy like a cheaper Surface Pro for like banging around outside. Wish I had more money. They owe me money. They owe me millions, actually. And, the thing is that it is what's bringing in the drugs. It is what's letting it slide by. Again, it seems like it has to be somebody in DEA, somebody in the Border Patrol at a higher rank, like a boss that will shift his people. So if you're wondering what the hell your boss is doing, don't say anything because they'll kill you. But if you wonder what he or she is doing by shifting you out of a pattern that you think would be successful, they could be letting the drugs in. That's simple. Even if that person rails at narcotics distribution and sex trafficking, they don't care, man. They'll let the sex trafficking go. It's going on everywhere in this city, going on everywhere. Like the conservatives are just like, yes, come here. We are here to save you. We fight crime. And you get there, it's like sex trafficking, narcotics distribution. Cops are in on it. I fell for it. I went to Oklahoma, big church place. We'll get back to Christianity. Nope, they sold out. Oh, we didn't sell it. We just good Republicans. We're good Republicans. That's all it is. We didn't sell out. We got the secret society. You're working for the narcotics distributors and the sex traffickers. But Democrats do it also. We'll make sure it's not political. Although politicians do it. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. That's the reality. Sorry, all of you. If I lied, I wouldn't be alive today. So there's a lot going on here in Oklahoma City. It's been going on the whole time I was here. I came here in good faith, and a cop tried to kill me in a Walmart. It started as a psychological murder. They start, harassing you in Walmarts and stuff like that. And it didn't take long. It was obvious it was set up before I even got here. Meanwhile, I'm out there helping their citizens, get into their car when there's a lockout. I'm helping them. I'm helping people. Would you like some coffee? I'll make you coffee, sir, ma'am. I'm giving people coffee. The people I gave coffee to. Okay, let's pay these people to operate them. So when I get up to Kansas City, if they attack me up there, that'll tell me that the case against the detective that used to be, I guess he was raping women and part of sex trafficking and narcotics. That's bullshit. Like when they get nervous, they find somebody to arrest and charge, which means it's just a cover story case. No, why would we do that? We actually charge people to do that. That's the whole theory in Mexico. That's the whole theory in our law enforcement world. That if they arrest, a certain number of them. Malcolm X at it. He knows what's going on. Again, psychology alters people. So when we see this anti-police thing, it's that psychology that they're using against people. I mean, they want to cuck people. They want to do people dirty and harm them in the family and then want them to love them back. I mean, I tried it. I tried being a nice guy, support law enforcement, all this, while they were killing me. Then years later, when I finally said something, they said, oh, like, he never said anything before. I said, bullshit, you know what's going on, all of you. It's a big scam. Don't say anything, you'll be okay. And then when you do say, oh, you didn't say anything before, that's a sign of somebody who's lying. I'll tell you, don't say anything, you'll be okay. That's the message they said. That cocaine cowboy I used to work for said it to one of his buddies. He used to be in the state police with him. That was my friend. So that's what we really have. I figure it was the cocaine cowboy years that infiltrated law enforcement. I mean, it's always been corrupt. Years ago, I spoke about witnessing with a friend of mine, and we were out on visitation day Thursday by ourselves because we weren't affiliated with the church at that point. At least I don't think we were. And we went and we started knocking on these like townhouse doors up in Pennsylvania. And a police officer answered the door. And his legs at the bottom, I've seen it before, were like purple, bad circulation. And he said, sure, come in. And, you know, he didn't say he was a police officer. We just got to talk. He said, I was a police officer. A retired guy. And he said, I don't believe in God. Not anymore. I said, why? You know, what's your reasoning? He said, my partner, I watched him burn in a vehicle with a bomb. The mob hit him. And I said, well, it's not God. I mean, God would have stopped that if it was possible. So this idea where God is not, it's like this is the Father's kingdom. Again, I go to that. At East Church, it's like, well, God's doing this. This is not the Father's kingdom. Therefore, the protection's not there. They use it because they go, I'm rich because this is the Father's kingdom and God, the Father is paying me. Jesus is giving me money. Not the narcotics distributors and the fake cops that are corrupt. But no, this is not the Father's kingdom. So I tried explaining that to him, and I hadn't quite figured out the deep state yet at that point. Even one cell of it. But that's what it was. Because I looked at his life, and I look at my, you know, not necessarily my life. Mine's a little bit better than his probably, but, you know, probably heading in that direction. But I'm probably already at his age or older. I'm doing probably a little bit better. But I speak out, and this is why they do it. That's a lie. If I didn't speak out, I'd be dead. The fact is, his partner was killed by the deep state. That's a fact. Corrupt police officers. He wouldn't have had that type of retired life if that wasn't true. So again, God gave me a lot of answers to a lot of things such as that. When I left, he still didn't want to believe in God. You know, we just prayed for him, and that's all you can do in those circumstances. He is spiritually blind, so Jesus has grandfathered him in. He's probably a victim under Ezekiel 34, so God the Father and Ezekiel have grandfathered him in to being somebody that is a victim, and God will take that person with him. So again, when they say victimhood, tell them to read Ezekiel 34. That's where victimization is spelled out, and it's not really victimhood, but if you want to call it that, well, you hoods will call it victim. Jesus, just in case you haven't heard, Jesus made several mechanisms for salvation. You should believe, but you don't have to. Jesus, when he speaks about, you know, visiting people in prison, when he speaks about clothing naked people, and you can't just do it. You can't do it for gain. You have to just do it out of the goodness of your heart. That's really where it is. So what happens is Jesus made several mechanisms, and he even speaks about people like that he, you know, that he will take with him. Well done. It doesn't say that they have to believe in him. It doesn't really. It says that in certain spots. But the Bible does that all over the place. People call it contradictions, but it's not contradictions. So the Bible itself has people being spiritually blind. Their sins don't get held against them. The spiritually blind are generally the victims in Ezekiel 34, but maybe could live a better life. In Ezekiel 34, God condemns the shepherds of Israel through his prophet Ezekiel. And the shepherds of Israel are any leadership location. It can also be somebody in the pew in your church. When you go to a church, it's a society. It's a society. It picks you up and gives you additional power. So, in some cases, anti-power. Anything on earth that's of God, if they sell out, it transfers into satanic power. So it will power you to a larger degree with Satan. So again, they're playing a game, quote unquote, the game of life or whatever they call it, but it's really the game of Satan. And they're in churches, they're in Hindu temples, they're in mosques, and it's bigger than you can imagine. Most of these people are going to hell that are in the churches. I'll tell you, the majority of churches have people that are going to hell. They're not Christian at all. We can call them kind of churchy. That's what they're known of. So this term's been around for a long time. Well, that's about it. Stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.
You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry, presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.